What's up people, Trav here from Fit Faster Performance, and today I'm talking about transforming your body in 28 days. Why 28 days? Well, that short space of time seems like it's something that most people can get their head around. If you make it a much bigger goal or a much bigger time frame, sometimes that's just too much for people to think of. So we found 28 days to be quite good, and that's why we run most of our transformation challenges now for 28 days. So what I want to go through with you is the 4 different aspects that are important in getting your transformation to be the most successful that it can be. All right, we're going to talk about training, recovery, mindset, and nutrition. All of these things are as important as each other. Without one of those pieces, nothing works properly. So let's start with training, because that's what we do predominantly. We run group personal training sessions in Scarborough and Woodlands, and we focus what we do on some strength work with a little bit of cardio mixed into it. There is a lot of mobility and flexibility that comes into the training through the warm-up and the cool-down. We do a little bit of breathing practice as well, because so many of us don't breathe properly. We end up working, concentrating so hard that we hold our breath, and that's no good because that increases our stress response, and we know that stress causes us to store fat rather than burn it. So I guess the main emphasis with our training is strength, and I like to focus on that for the main reason that more muscle you have, the more fat you burn, even if you're doing nothing. So doesn't mean for ladies you're going to get bulky. Same for guys. You know, there's a specific formula you would need and certain diet you would have to eat. The majority of people were training for fat loss anyway, so our goal is to produce workouts that will increase your metabolism, build muscle, and leave you feeling good at the end of the day, not absolutely exhausted on the floor. Because if you finish your workout lying in a pool of sweat, dying, then it's going to take you a long time to recover from that, and that's just really going to be beating down your body. It's not good. You should leave your workout feeling better than when you began. So yeah, functional training exercises. What I mean by that is we do exercises that mimic how the body naturally moves. We'll use dumbbells and kettlebells and TRXs to leverage our body weight into positions that we have to fight against gravity. And then that in turn helps us to really focus on our posture while we do the movements. The better your posture is, the better you're going to move. The better you can move, the more weight you can move. The heavier you're training with weight resistance in some form, the more you're going to get out of it. All right. So if you keep leveling up with your strength, leveling up with your fitness, everything's going to get better. We will always do some form of cardio, and it's metabolic cardio. So it's not just you're going to go for a run for 10 minutes, because that's really counterproductive for a lot of people, and it can cause all sorts of injuries. So we'll do metabolic workouts with strength stuff. So they might be some squats in there, there might be some lunges in there, there might be some abdominal exercises in there, there may be some kicking or punching or other exercises that we have found over the years to be highly effective at burning fat and building muscle and really switching that core on, because you'll find that when the core works best, everything else follows. It works fantastic. So there's a lot of emphasis on squeezing your abs, squeezing your glutes. All right, your glutes, your butt muscles, and they really are highly important in the overall performance of your body. They also are important in holding you upright. So you want good posture, you've got to make sure your butt is working. All right, so that's training. Now let's work on to recovery. This is where a lot of people have a problem. People don't seem to be getting enough sleep. I mean, if you're not getting 8 hours sleep every night, you're going to struggle with that transformational effect that you're looking to get out of your body. Because every time you go to sleep, your body goes through a stage of repair. If you cut down on that time that it has to be able to repair, both mentally and physically, then you're going to be basically hampering your progress. If you were able to get 9 or 10 hours sleep in a night, you would get far better results than somebody who only gets 5 or 6. So really, focus on trying to get to bed before 10:30. Try and get up at the same time each day. If you find that you've got to get up really early for work, that means you need to set an alarm and get to bed far earlier. So work out, all right, well, if I've got to get up at 5, then 8 hours before that, that's the latest that I can go to bed. Okay? It might take a lot of discipline, but remember, we're talking 28 days here. So sleep is great. I also am a big believer in meditation. Meditation is one of those things that incorporates breath work and just helps to slow your mind down to switch it off. And it's something that you can do throughout the day to make sure you're switching your breathing back on again and just to calm your system down. Some of us are just like hyper. I'm like that all the time. And we need something to just calm us down. I found meditation really does a great job of just relaxing my system. It will be the same for you. The simplest way to do it is to try and use an app or a follow-along meditation that you can get audio or video. YouTube's got a bunch on there. There's an app called Headspace which you can use. They've got 10-minute meditations that you can do for free. There's a bunch of different things, but it just takes practice. You've got to set an alarm, turn your phone to silent, tell nobody to disturb you, and just have that time for yourself, calm your system down. That'll help dramatically as well. All right. The other thing I'm going to go back to with sleep is if you want to go to bed at, say, 10 o'clock, you should really start getting ready for bed around 9:30, which means dimming the lights in your house, making sure that you're switching the TV off, turning your phone off or putting it onto flight mode so you're going to have that less temptation to keep going on and researching and going crazy like that. It just takes way too much of your time. So get your recovery. It is as important as the training. The next thing we'll go to is mindset. Now, again, 28 days. That's all you have to think about. I'm just going to do 28. All right, well, maybe that's too much. Maybe you need to break it down into just 1 week increments. All right, 7 days. All right, I'm just going to be good for this 7 days. I'll be really strict with my food. I'm going to be really strict with my sleep. I'm going to make sure I get to all the training sessions that I need to. 7 days, again, might be too much. Maybe you need to just take it 1 day at a time. Maybe a couple of days. Who knows? It's you figuring out what works best for you. You know you better than anybody else. So use the way that you work into the system. See, there is no two people are exactly the same. We're all motivated by different things. So you have to figure out what motivates you, what drives you, and make it work from there. All right? Another thing with mindset is you've got to have some sort of a goal. If you don't have a goal, how will you know when you get there? All right? If you don't have some sort of measuring stick, like how does it work? Do you want the numbers on the scales to go down? Do you want to fit into a particular dress or pair of pants? Do you want to see your body fat go down? Do you want to see measurements go down? Are there specific markers that you're looking for? With our training, what we do is we'll do weight and body fat with the emphasis on the body fat percentage because that really tells us what's going on in the body. Weight, not anywhere near as significant, but the other one we do is measurements. And we do measurements because sometimes you'll find that your measurements go down and your weight stays the same. All right? That means you've lost fat and you've either built muscle or you've just maintained your muscle. So ladies especially get attached to these numbers on the scales, and it's no good because if you train consistently with weights over the course of 3 to 5 years, you might gain 2 to 5 kilos of muscle. In that same time, you may lose 5 to 10 kilos of fat, or you might only lose the same amount of fat as you gained in muscle, but you'll definitely look smaller because muscle takes up far less space than fat does. All right? Takes a bit of getting your head around, but know your outcome, know what drives you, and really use your motivation to your own advantage. All right, last one go into is nutrition. Now, some people will say nutrition is 80-90% and training is only 10%. Well, I think that's rubbish because I know from my experience and my clients that if you are training, you generally want to eat better. You don't want to waste all the hard work you've done at training by eating a crappy diet. So what you want to do is okay, I'm going to do this. 28 days, focused, know what's going on, my nutrition. I'm going to keep it simple, all right? Just eat real food. That is the biggest thing that you can do, all right? By real food, I mean if it has one ingredient, it's real food. Anything else has been modified in some different way. So you go protein, meat, fish, eggs. You want to go to protein powder? Yeah, see, not real food. It may be beneficial or it may be a necessary thing that you need to use just so you can get a meal in, but it's not going to be as good as the real thing. Fresh fruits and vegetables, they're going to be your priorities. Not too much in the fruit because fruit has a lot of sugar in it. Doesn't mean you don't eat fruit, it just means you don't go overboard with it. That's why the Australian government has the 2 fruit and 5 veg, because the vegetables are far more important. Now vegetables, try and get a bunch of colours in each day. As I say, 5 serves would be great, 10 would be better. How can you make that happen? Well, one way you can do it is through green smoothies for breakfast or green juices. Just make sure you're going heavy on the vegetables and lighter on the fruits. I also like to have salad or vegetables with lunch and dinner, because then if I can hit 3 different meals like that, I know that I'm going to be able to spread it out and it's easier to get a whole lot in. Experiment with different fruits and vegetables for flavour. One thing I was looking at yesterday is you can just add orange into a salad and it changes everything. I put beetroot grated up into a salad yesterday, changed the taste completely. It doesn't taste like your boring old salad. So just get a little creative with it. There's plenty of recipes online that you can find, so use them. What else? Fat. Fat is essential in our diet, so you want fat in the good fats. So coconut oil, olive oil, great. Flax oil. Then you've got seeds, nuts and seeds. So seeds, you could look at hemp seeds, flax seeds, people like chia seeds these days. Really good protein, fat makeup of those. Another one I have is pumpkin seeds, which is really good as a snack. And then nuts, your best ones, you're looking at almonds and cashews, walnuts, Brazil nuts. Try and stay away from pistachios and peanuts, because they are more in the legume family and they don't seem to digest as well with a lot of people, don't sit as well, and they can cause some more issues. So you try and be wary of them. The other thing to remember with fat is you want to have some, but you don't want to have too much. With nuts, it's really easy to eat like a big handful of them and just go way overboard. So the best way that I've seen in recent years, Precision Nutrition, they just use a thumb size serve. So for women, it's 1 thumb, for men, it's 2 thumbs. Simple. Now they use the same sort of process with your protein. So if you're eating meat, fish, eggs, alright, for men, it's 1 size serve, for women, it's 2 size serves. Fist. That's your serving size, all right? You want to make your vegetables. You want to have a cup-sized hand, like, you know, plenty of that. That's a good size serve each time. So just keep it simple with that sort of stuff. Keep your food simple, keep your meals simple. If you find that stuff's tasting bland, you need to get into your herbs and spices. There are a ton of different herbs and spices in different combinations that make amazing foods. You can make Indian foods using particular spices, Mexican stuff. There's all sorts of different ones. I have mixes. One of them is peri peri. One of them is Outback barbecue steak spice. Another one is Moroccan spice. There's all sorts of different things. Just have a look and experiment with it. You can put them into your salads as well. There's no rules that say that they can only go in certain things. Just get creative with it, try different things, and you'll find things that work better than others. We provide you with our Naked Nutrition meal plan anyway, and that's got a ton of ideas in there. Just really simple stuff that I actually use and that I know my clients have used to make life easier for you. So have a try with that, use the recipes, and then tweak them for your own. You can swap in all sorts of things. I've set that program up for people to get creative, because when you have to eat just a certain thing, like chicken breasts and broccoli, that's all you're allowed to eat for 28 days, screw that. That's not going to work. You're like, how are you going to stick to that? I couldn't do it, so why would I expect you to do it? So recipes, just keep it simple, just eat real food. Plenty of leafy greens. Don't forget your leafy greens, they are really important. And I guess the last one we'll cover is carbohydrates. So carbohydrates get a bad rap a lot of the time, and in recent years people have been really trying to cut them all the way out. That works fine for some people, but not for everybody. We're all different. Some people will need a little bit more of that starchy carbohydrate in their life. So we're talking about bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, sweet potatoes, that sort of thing. There are a lot of grains that are around that you can substitute for wheat. Like wheat seems to be problematic with a lot of people. You take wheat out and you put some of the gluten-free grains in there, the body does a whole lot better. You get less bloating, stomach cramps, that sort of stuff. You don't get as much water retention. That helps. Bread I'm not a fan of for fat loss. Bread is one of those things that's usually high in wheat, and it has problems. Like everyone seems to have problems on bread. There are a few exceptions. Sometimes sourdough people can get away with. I find that one's not quite so bad. Some of the gluten-free breads you can get away with, but they can be a little cardboard tasting. The main thing that I like to think with say with carbohydrates is you only have as much as you need, and you probably don't need anywhere near as much as you think you do. So if you can get to it for a fat loss phase, really short and sharp like this, try and have a very small serve of starchy carbs after your 3 main workouts a week. So if you're coming to do our boot camp, you're going to have your strength and cardio in there. That's going to be a pretty intense workout. They should be the more intense workouts of your week. The rest of the time, just some cardio interval training and some, you might do some walking, you might do some yoga, you might do some stretching, you might go and play a sport, something fun, those sorts of things. But yeah, you basically use up your glycogen supply. Glycogen is just what the carbohydrates get converted to in the muscles, and that needs to be replaced, but it only needs to be a small amount. So you're talking maybe 25 to 45 grams of carbohydrate, not grams of the food. So you might find that you have to read your labels a whole lot more, and this is paramount when it comes to nutrition anyway, because you want to make sure you're getting the right stuff in your body and the good stuff in your body. So how can you do that if you don't know what's on the labels? Read the labels, you'll find out, all right, well, it has a label for one thing that's going to have more than one ingredient, but if there's only 2 or 3 ingredients in there, you're probably pretty good. If it's got numbers in there, that's not real good. If it's got artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, also no good. If you have natural flavors is not actually natural flavors. The flavors are still artificial. It's just some loophole that people have got around with the labeling thing. Not real happy about it, but that's another story for another time. So we'll leave it there. Get your training, make sure you're doing the right thing that's really going to burn fat, boost your metabolism, and leave you feeling good. Make sure you recover well, sleep well, do some meditation, do some stretching, yoga if you need that. Get focused, get yourself ready. All right, I'm going to do this. If you have to, get a friend to come with you so they keep you on track and you keep them on track. And then get that nutrition. The simpler the better, especially with 28 days. You can eat the same thing over and over again. It might sound a little bit crazy, but you do whatever works for you. You figure it out. So that's it. Well, my alarm's going off. It's time for me to go to work. Guys, get stuck into it. Have a crack. Tweak those things. Practice those techniques. And as your habits improve, so your body will change. All right? That's it. 28 days. Go and do it.